I stayed where I was when the room started shifting. The chair didn't move, but the air changed weight. You stood near the door, keys already warm in your hand. I watched the moment decide without sound. I didn't ask why. You looked past the wall, there was nothing dramatic, just less of us in the space. The clock kept working like nothing was wrong, seconds doing their job without checking on me. I stayed where I was, not to prove anything. I just didn't feel like chasing the shape you left. You said one sentence that didn't need answers. It landed between us and stayed unfinished. I noticed my breathing got slower than before, not calm, just steady enough. The floor felt familiar, I could remember me. Every mark still there, even after you shifted your weight. I stayed where I was while the idea leaving passed through me and kept on. No fight, nothing to fix, only the sound of distance learning its place. Ooh, you touched the handle and stopped, as if you heard something that wasn't there. I didn't follow the pause, I let it finish on its own. Some moments don't need company. I stayed where I was long enough to feel the silence settle without asking for more. When the door finally closed, it didn't echo, it just confirmed what had already happened. I stayed where I was because a room could hold it, and for once so could I. You asked something small without looking at me. Your voice was calm, like it didn't expect a reply. I felt the space open, no wide, just enough for the question to sit there without urgency. I didn't rush my mouth to fill the air. Some moments arrive already complete. The windows stayed quiet, traffic kept its distance. Even the clock seemed unsure what to do. Nothing needed an answer, not then, not in that light, not between those walls. You waited a second, then looked away as if held us evenly, no sides, no pressure, just two people breathing. Nothing needed an answer, because nothing was missing. The question wasn't empty, it was finished. It was finished. You shifted your weight, the floor responded softly, like it understood how little this moment wanted. I didn't explain myself or search for words. Some truths don't improve when spoken aloud. The sound of the street came and went without interrupting what we weren't saying. Nothing needed an answer, not to stay honest, not to stay real, not to keep its shape. Your eyes stayed steady, not asking for comfort, just checking if I was still there. I was not frozen, not brave, just present. The air moved once, then settled again, like it had learned our pace. Nothing needed an answer, because we weren't lost, we just weren't going anywhere. When the moment passed, it didn't leave a mark, it simply stepped aside and let the next one breathe. I stayed quiet, not to avoid anything, but because it felt complete. Nothing needed an answer, and for once that was enough. The room went quiet, now suddenly, just enough to notice the space between sounds. You looked down like you were counting something, not numbers, just time passing clean. I felt the pause arrive and didn't move toward it. Some gaps aren't broken, they're intentional. I didn't fill the silence, I let it stay tall, let it stretch out and decide its own length. The light on the wall didn't flicker or fade, it stayed the same, like it wasn't involved. Your breath stayed even, mine followed slower, not synced, but not lost either. I didn't fill the silence, not with reasons, not with comfort, not with borrowed words. Outside, a car passed, then another life doing its thing without checking in. The chair held my weight, the floor stayed patient. Nothing in the room asked me to perform. I watched the quiet do its work, settling nerves without instructions. I didn't fill the silence, because it wasn't empty, it was holding more than I could say. You shifted once, then stayed still, as if you heard what I was choosing not to add. The clock moved forward without announcing itself, just a soft agreement that time was still on. I didn't feel the silence, I trusted it to carry what mattered without noise. There was no tension, no build, no release, just presence doing its job. Your hands rested open, not reaching, not closed, just available. I noticed how calm can feel heavy when it's real and not rehearsed. I didn't feel the silence, I matched its pace, slow enough to stay honest. The walls didn't echo, they absorbed every unsaid thing without judgment. A moment like this doesn't repeat itself, it only asks not to be rushed. I didn't feel the silence and it didn't push back. It stayed with me like it understood. You finally looked up, not for an answer, just to confirm I was still there. A moment like this doesn't repeat itself, it only asks not to be rushed. I didn't feel the silence and it didn't push back. It stayed with me like it understood. You finally looked up, not for an answer, just to confirm I was still there. I was not waiting, not hiding, just present in it. The quiet grew familiar, like a song with no chorus, but perfect timing. I didn't fill the silence, I let it finish exactly where it needed to. On its own, when sound returned, it felt optional, like we could choose whether to use it. I stayed still long enough to learn that silence doesn't need fixing. I didn't fill the silence, 'cause it wasn't a gap, it was the point all along. It didn't arrive loud, no warning in the air, just a shift I noticed after it already started. The day kept moving, people kept their pace. Nothing around me signaled what was changing. You didn't raise your voice or lower your eyes. You stayed exactly the same, and that was the difference. It passed without noise, without a clear edge, like something leaving before I knew to watch it. I felt it in my shoulders, not heavy, just settled, as if my body understood before my thoughts did. The room stayed useful, chairs where they belong. Even the light kept doing its job. I didn't reach for meaning, I let the moment sit. Some things explain themselves by not insisting. It passed without noise, no crack in the surface, only a calm awareness that something was done. You looked at the wall, longer than needed, like you were given time, one last chance. I stayed still, not out of fear, but because movement felt unnecessary. Outside a sound happened, then disappeared. not important enough to remember. It passed without noise, and I respected that. Some endings prefer not to be named. My breath stays steady, no rush to adjust. The body adapts faster when it's not pushed. There was no before or after, no sharp divide, just one moment quietly replacing another. It passed without noise and left no instructions, only a space that felt complete. You touched nothing on your way out, as if you didn't want to disturb the air. I noticed how silence can feel full when it's honest and not waiting. I didn't call it loss or relief. I let it be what it already was. It passed without noise and didn't look back, like it trusted me to handle the rest. Time kept its rhythm, no pauses added. Seconds stayed ordinary, and that felt right. I stayed where I was long enough to feel that nothing needed repair, nothing needed proof. It passed without noise, and somehow that made it easier to carry. When the room emptied, it didn't echo. It simply returned to its original shape. I stood up later not to move on, just to keep going at the same pace. It passed without noise and stayed that way. Even now, when I remember it, some moments don't fade, they just finish clean and quiet, like this one did. I let the moment sit right where it landed. Didn't brush it off, didn't turn it over. The room was ready for whatever came next, but nothing came, and that was fine. You leaned back like you decided not to push the thought any further. I let the moment sit without checking the clock. Time was still moving, just not asking me to leave. The light stayed soft on the edge of the table, no shadows arguing for attention. I noticed my breathing, find a slower place, not calm exactly, just unforced. I let the moment sit because it didn't ask to be shaped or improved. Your hand stayed open, not offering, not taking, just there outside. Something passed, I didn't look. Some sounds don't belong. Sounds don't. Inside the moment, I let the moment sit until it felt familiar, like a chair I'd owned for years. Oh, there was no summary, no takeaway, just presence doing what it does. You shifted once, then settled again, as if you agreed to stay a little longer. I didn't fill the space with meaning, I trusted the quiet to carry itself. I let the moment sit, and it didn't resist. It widened slightly, then stayed put. The floor didn't creak, the walls didn't react. Everything in the room understood restraint. I felt the urge to speak pass through me and keep going without consequence. I let the moment sit and felt my shoulders drop, not in relief, but in recognition. The air felt used in a good way, like it had served its purpose. You looked up briefly, not for an answer, just to confirm I hadn't left. I was still there, exactly where the moment needed me. I let the moment sit until it lost its edge, not dull, just complete. Nothing about it begged to be remembered, and that made it easy to keep. The clock advanced without ceremony, seconds doing their work in the background. I didn't mark the time or save the feeling. Some things stay better when untouched. I let the moment sit until it finished itself. No cue, no signal. When it finally moved on, it didn't leave a gap, it left continuity, and that felt right. I stood up later, not because I had to, but because the moment had ended. I let the moment sit long enough to learn that staying is sometimes the action. Even now when I think back, nothing feels missing from how it went. I let the moment sit, and it taught me that not everything needs a response. No one asked me to move, and I didn't anyway. The room had already decided where I belonged. The chair knew my weight before I sat down, like it had been waiting longer than I had. You were nearby, not close, not far, just present enough. No one asked me to move. There was no signal, no raised voice, no reason given. The light stayed even across the floor. Nothing dramatic, nothing to escape from. I felt time slow, not stop, just widen so I could stand inside it. No one asked me to move, and that felt important, like permission without being spoken. My hands rested where they landed, not folded, not clenched. Outside life kept pace, cars passed, someone laughed, none of it reached me. Oh, asked me to move, because nothing was wrong, nothing needed correction, nothing needed speed. I notice how stillness can feel active when you choose it instead of falling into it. You looked up once and back down, like you trusted the silence to hold. No one asked me to move, and I respected that. Some moments collapse when pushed. The clock kept counting without urgency, seconds arriving, then leaving cleanly. I didn't prepare a sentence or rehearse a thought. My mouth stayed closed by choice. No one asked me to move, so I stayed aligned with the floor, with the air. The room felt balanced, nothing leaning, nothing pulling, everything equal. I felt my breathing find its own rhythm, not guided, not corrected. No one asked me to move. and for once I didn't feel behind or ahead. You shifted slightly, then settled again, as if you checked yourself and agreed to stay. There was no center, no edge, just space used gently. No one asked me to move because the moment wasn't passing through, it was staying. I let my thoughts arrive then leave without following them out the door. The walls stayed quiet like they understood that attention was already placed. Oh, no one asked me to move, and I realized how often I do without being told. This time I didn't, I stayed and nothing collapsed because of it. The air felt neutral, not heavy, not light, just real. You didn't check the time, I didn't either. We let it move on its own. No one asked me to move, and that was enough to feel grounded where I was when the moment shifted. It did so politely, like it didn't want to interrupt. I stood up later, not in response, just in sequence with what came next. Ooh, no one asked me to move, and I didn't mistake that for hesitation or fear. It was a decision, quiet, steady, and fully mine. Even now when I think of it, nothing feels unfinished about staying. No one asked me to move, and that's exactly why I didn't. The room stayed quiet long after you stopped talking, like you chose not to interrupt. Nothing in it shifted. The table kept its place. The walls held steady, like they were listening. I noticed the quiet had a shape, not empty, just contained. The room stayed quiet without asking me to explain or adjust. You sat back, eyes on nothing in particular, as if the moment didn't need direction. I felt my breathing slow, not on purpose, just matching what the room allowed. The room stayed quiet and didn't feel tense. It felt prepared for staying that way. Light rested on the floor without reaching further. No shadows rushing to be noticed. I didn't check the silence for meaning. I let it exist on its own terms. The room stayed quiet and I stayed with it. No impulse to fill the gap. Outside something moved, not important enough to pull us out of the moment. Your hand stayed still, not holding anything, not letting go, just present. The room stayed quiet, like it trusted us to handle what wasn't said. I felt the thought form, then dissolve without needing my attention. The chair supported me without comment, like it knew I wasn't leaving yet. The room stayed quiet and that felt deliberate, as if noise would have been careless. You shifted once, then settled again, like you chose to remain here. There was no signal, no cue, no reason to break it. prepare words or excuses. I let the silence do the holding. The room stayed quiet, and nothing fell missing, nothing waiting to be fixed. I noticed my shoulders drop, not relief, just alignment with the moment. Your presence stayed light, not leaning, not pulling, just there. The room stayed quiet, like it respected what we were trying to do. I didn't name the feeling or store it away. Some things stay clear when unnamed. The quiet didn't grow or fade, it simply remained consistent. The room stayed quiet until it felt complete, not finished, just settled. When sound returned, it did so gently, as if asking permission. I stayed a second longer after that, not because I had to, but because I could. The room stayed quiet long enough to teach me how to stay too. I didn't reach for more when the moment opened. It was already wide enough to stand inside. You looked at me like something was expected, but nothing in the air asked for proof. The table stayed bare, no extra space needed. What was there knew how to hold itself. I didn't reach for more, not because I couldn't, but because adding anything would have shifted it. Your voice stayed level, not offering, not withholding, just present. I noticed how often wanting more comes from missing what's already here. The room didn't echo, it absorbed every small sound without complaint. I didn't reach for more, I let the moment use its full length without interruption. You leaned back slightly, as if relieved that nothing was being pulled from you. The light didn't change, it stayed honest, showing exactly what it needed to. I felt the urge to extend the feeling, then watched it pass without acting. I didn't reach for more because it wasn't a gap, it was a balance. The chair held steady, the floor stayed neutral. Nothing in the space was asking to be moved. You took a breath and another, like you were settling to the same vision. I didn't reach for more, and the silence didn't punish me for it. Time moved cleanly, no dragging, no rushing, just forward. I realize how often more becomes noise when the moment is already clear. Your hand stayed open, not asking, not offering, just available. I didn't reach for more, I trusted what was here to finish itself without help. The air felt complete, not full, not empty, just resolved. Outside something passed, I didn't look, this moment didn't belong to outside. I felt my shoulders settle, not relaxed, just aligned with the choice. I didn't reach for more, and nothing collapsed, nothing faded, nothing was lost. You stayed quiet, not waiting, not guarded, just there. The room accepted our stillness like it had room for exactly this. I didn't reach for more because this wasn't restrained, it was respect for the shape it had. The clock continued without urgency, seconds passing without demanding meaning. I stayed present, not holding back, not leaning forward, just centered. didn't reach for more, and the moment didn't ask me to reconsider. When it finally shifted, it did so gently, like it was finished on its own terms. I stood up later, not from restlessness, but because the moment had closed. I didn't reach for more, and I don't regret it. Some things stay stronger when left untouched. Nothing needed to change. When we got here, the air already knew how to sit with us. You stood by the window, not looking out, just facing the light as it stayed still. I felt the moment settle without instruction, like it had arrived fully formed. Nothing needed to change, not the distance, not the tone, not the way we stood. The room held its shape without asking. Chairs where they were, walls doing their work. You didn't adjust your voice or your posture. You stayed exactly as you were. I noticed how rare it is to arrive somewhere and not feel the urge to improve it. Nothing needed to change, because nothing was off, nothing unfinished, nothing leaning. The clock moved forward without pressure, seconds landing then leaving clean. I didn't prepare a response or a plan. Some moments don't need direction. Nothing needed to change, and that felt intentional, like restrained, used correctly. Your hands rested easy, not closed, not reaching, just present. The light stayed honest, no shadows trying to dramatize what was simple. I felt my breathing slow, not for calm, just to match the pace of the room. Nothing needed to change, and the silence didn't grow heavy or thin. Outside, something moved, I didn't follow it. This moment was self-contained. You shifted once, then stayed like you trusted the stillness. Nothing needed to change, because nothing was asking to be fixed or named. The floor felt solid, the chair held steady, everything in place without effort. I noticed how often change gets mistaken for progress when staying is enough. Nothing needed to change, and I didn't mistake that for settling or fear. It felt deliberate, measured, like choosing not to interrupt. Your presence stayed light, not distant, not close, just balance. Nothing needed to change, and that made space for something else to arrive later. Time didn't announce itself, it just continued like it trusted us to keep up. I didn't store the fear nor mark it down. Some things stay clear when unkept. Nothing needed to change, because the moment had already landed where it stayed a second longer after that. Not from hesitation, but respect. Nothing needed to change, and I understood then how rare it is to let that be true. Even now when I think back, nothing feels missing from how it was. Nothing needed to change, and that was the point of staying.